I think we accept this stuff because we go, that was old-timey. In those days, you would get 3 animals, cut them in half, and lay them out, like blood everywhere, just like he sawed them. I don't even know what implements he used. Welcome to Joel Reads Bible. I'm Joel, and I am reading the Bible front to back. Every chapter of the Bible is a video. If that sounds fun to you, subscribe, ring the bell, be notified when I post. We are in Genesis. We're still early days here. We're at chapter 15. We are in the throes of the story of Abram. And so far, Abram is a very powerful, if not a little bit morally questionable person. So let's get into it. Genesis chapter 15. After this, the word of the Lord came to Abram in a vision. Keep in mind, it wasn't that long ago in the book that God had come down. That was in Babel. And prior to that, he was walking around with Adam in the garden. After that, he talked to Noah. I don't know how he talked to Noah, but there wasn't really talk of visions. I would assume that he was just like, hey, Noah, write down, this is the way you're going to build the ark. But in this case, God is now doing visions. So he's retreating. He's like, I don't want to be as involved with this. Do not be afraid, Abram. I am your shield, your very great reward. When God shows up places, or an angel or whatever, they go, whoa, 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 don't be nervous. I know this is nuts, seeing me, but I am your shield, your very great reward, which is actually a beautiful thing to say to someone. Like, I'm going to protect you, and I am your very reward. I am your reward. Me. It's almost romantic. But Abram said, O sovereign Lord, what can you give me since I remain childless? And the one who will inherit my estate is Eliezer of Damascus. And Abram said, you have given me no children, so a servant in my household will be my heir. Nowadays, you don't really think about that. Who's going to be my heir? Who's going to bring my family name for? It's like, who cares, Mr. Smith? There's enough of you. Like, we don't need more of anyone, really. Any one specific person or family tree or line. Like, who cares? But in those days, it was actually very important. Then the word of the Lord came to him. This man will not be your heir, but a son coming from your own body will be your heir. You didn't think that God would be so crass, but he did say a son coming from your own body. So, and that is, first of all, it's scientific. That's how that works. But it is a little bit like, geez, God. He took him outside and said, look up at the heavens and count the stars, if indeed you can count them. Then he said, so shall your offspring be. And Abram's like, well, yeah, but you said that about the dust. Like, I get it. There's going to be a lot of them. Also, it's interesting that he took him outside. He came to him in a vision. I guess in the vision, it's like Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like, he appears and then, but also can like move around. Like, he's more of like a visual ghost. He shows up and he's like, hey, God here. Don't be afraid. I'm your shield. Come out. Hey, come outside. Come on out. Come on outside and check out these stars. Abram believed the Lord, and he credited it to him as righteousness. We'll see what that means. He also said to him, I am the Lord who brought you out of the Chaldeans to give you this land to take possession of it. But Abram said, O sovereign Lord, how can I know that I will gain possession of it? Already, mankind is not so sure about the promises of God. He's like, yeah, you say that, but how do I really even know? So the Lord said to him, bring me a heifer, a goat, and a ram, each 3 years old, along with a dove and a young pigeon. Where are you going with this, Lord? Abram brought all these to him, cut them into two, and arranged the halves opposite each other. Why did he do that? God never meant. He's like, why are you cutting them? Why would you cut them up like that, Abram? I don't know. I thought that's what you would have wanted. The birds, however, he did not cut in half. They're too small. They're already small. Then birds of prey came down on the carcasses, but Abram drove them away. Picture it. Just picture it. Like, what is happening here? I think we accept this stuff because we go, that was old-timey. In those days, you would get 3 animals, cut them in half, and lay them out, like blood everywhere, just like he sawed them. I don't even know what implements he used. The sun was setting. Abram fell into a deep sleep, and a thick and dreadful darkness came over him. So initially it was a waking vision, and now he's falling asleep. Also, the Lord told him to bring those things. He brought them. He cut them up before God even told him to do that. At least we don't see that he did. And then he goes, I'm tired. I'm going to sleep. What is happening? Then the Lord said to him, know for certain that your descendants will be strangers in a country not their own, and they will be enslaved and mistreated 400 years. But I will punish the nation they serve as slaves, and afterwards they will come out with great possessions. You, however, will go to your fathers in peace and be buried at a good old age. In the 4th generation, your descendants will come back here, for the sin of the Amorites has not yet reached its full measure. So there's this idea that a people having to sin enough to finally be given into the hands of the Hebrews, which are Abram's people. God can't just go, all right, this is yours now, just take it. There's got to be a bit of a justification. And the justification is always they're sinful or they're evil. But in this case, we are going to be led to believe that there's some sort of a justice there. I have to wait till they become sinful enough. I have to wait till they've accumulated the right amount of sinning. And I don't know if it is cumulative in the sense that they've been sinning for 400 years, so we're going to count all of that previous sin of different people. But it all gets compounded until, yes, we can destroy them. Or these people are sinful 400 years ago, and then they teach their kids to be sinful. They double down. The sin grows, and gets more and more and more sinful, more and more. Like they're lying every day as opposed to only lying twice a week. I don't know how the sin is measured. Nowhere can you find where that would be listed and where you can actually see, what those levels are for whatever sins. But there is certainly, it's not like sin is sin. That's not the way it works. Sin is measured, and at a certain point, it's justified to take something from certain people. When the sun had set and darkness had fallen, a smoking fire pot with blazing torch appeared and passed between the pieces. On that day, the Lord made a covenant with Abram and said, to your descendants I give this land, from the river of Egypt to the great river, the Euphrates, the land of the Kenites, Kenizzites, Cadmonites, and Hittites, Perizzites, might as well be parasites, Rephates, Amorites, Canaanites, Girgashites, and Jebusites. A lot of that, if not all of it, is the sons of Ham. He's trash. We already had that established. Abraham's like, God, prove to me I will get that land. And God says, cut up 3 animals. He doesn't say that. He goes, get these animals. Abraham's like, I think you mean cut them up. Cuts them up, lays out the halves of these animals in this sort of brutal, bizarre sort of, I don't even know what to call this, cutting them up, laying them out, and then a smoking fire pot with a blazing torch appeared and passed between the pieces of the animals. If you're watching this and you know someone that's knows about Bible stuff, is there significance to this? Because it's not like it's written, and that meant that this and that, it's very specific that it's two halves of a ram, and that ram represents this. The smoking torch fire pot represents this. And then God's like, does that not prove it? Is it not clear now? Eh? Yeah, I'm definitely going to give it to you. Did you see the pot? Did you see the smoking pot? Didn't you see the torch? It was moving between did you not? Oh, you were asleep. Oh, right. You had fallen asleep. I thought this chapter was going to be kind of uneventful and just a short, quick read, but it turns out there's a lot going on there. It's fun to really dig into this book because it's absolutely nuts. And I wonder if we're going to see God have anyone else cut up 3 animals and some birds. That may be just the regular thing that everyone's going to regularly do, and it means something, Or it could just be a bunch of silly, absolutely ridiculous nonsense. It makes it sound like I'm saying it is and being sarcastic. It may not be. In the comments, tell me what you think it means, because it seems bizarre to me, but tell me what you think it could possibly mean. What is the message? Please subscribe, ring the bell, keep watching these videos because they are fun, and I'm enjoying reading the Bible, believe it or not, which I didn't think would necessarily be the case. But we'll see you next time, and I love you more than you may never know.